They are taking fat from dead bodies to inject into other people's asses.
How flat does your ass have to be to the point where you inject a dead person's fat into your butt? Like, that's so nasty. I can't. Like, you are forever haunted.
I would totally do AlloClae if I wasn't so scared of ghosts. Like, I don't want to get possessed through my butt. You know what I'm saying?
Because we are in the Black Mirror. We are the Black Mirror. Please, I'm begging to God. I just found out that...
What is the long-term survival of a dead person's fat? To assume that because it looked good in athymic mice at 6 months, which is the best they have, that it's going to last well in humans and be worth the exorbitant prices that people are lining up to pay.
Apparently, there have been a lot of women out here that are receiving fat transferred from a deceased person into their asses. So yeah, it's called AlloClae, and I'm just going to show you a few videos of what that is and why women are receiving those.
They are taking fat from dead bodies to inject into other people's asses. Apparently, the hot new trend in cosmetic procedures is taking donated tissue from cadaver fat to do a BBL type procedure without having to lipo the fat out of your own body. But if I donate my body to science, like for organ donation, and they use that to give someone a fatter ass, I have no choice but to haunt the fuck out of you. Especially if it's like an influencer or something. Like, you will never rest again if my fat is in your ass. But I think that everyone can probably agree that BBLs from dead bodies is body horror. Like, that's terrifying. What? I don't know how that wouldn't mentally or emotionally weigh on you to like know where that ass came from. I think that organ donation can be like a noble and important thing to do, but this is just another piece of information that dissuades people from wanting to do that.
Have you heard of AlloClae? It's the cosmetic trend going viral as zombie filler, and it's caused a regulatory showdown in New York. Here's why. AlloClae isn't a synthetic filler made in a lab with chemistry. It's processed fat tissue taken from human cadavers, people who donated their bodies after death, and regulators are scrambling to figure out who should even be allowed to inject it. Here's what the marketing won't tell you. There is no long-term human safety data on cadaver-derived fat fillers like this. This is not an accident, it's a classification issue. Because this product is regulated as human tissue, not a drug or a device, it can reach the market without going through the same clinical trial process that synthetic fillers and implants require. That means doctors are injecting this into patients right now, and nobody, not the company, not the FDA, and not your injector, actually know how this tissue behaves in a human body 5 or 10 or 15 years later. And it's tempting to think of this as low stakes, right? A more natural option for filling in hip dips, especially for patients who don't have much fat of their own. But this same category of product is also being injected into breasts. And here's something to think about. Even using your own fat, taken from liposuction and injected into your own breast, that's known to cause lumps and oil cysts and calcifications. That's exactly why fat transfer is typically used as a refinement technique rather than a primary way to add volume to your breasts. And that's with tissue your immune system already recognizes. If your own fat can cause that, what happens when it's someone else's? And there's a deeper question underneath all of this. Where does this tissue actually come from? It comes from people who donated their bodies, often believing they were helping advance medical science or save lives. Donor consent forms can be broad, and most families signing them aren't picturing their loved one's tissue ending up in a cosmetic filler for hip dips or breasts. Tissue banks acquire this material for relatively little, then it's reprocessed, packaged, and sold to med spas at a markup for elective cosmetic use. You're allowed to ask, is this really what donors signed up for? And are patients being told the full picture before they get injected? So before you consider zombie filler, you deserve the full story, not just a trend. What do you think? Let me know below.
I just don't get it. Why are you using dead people's fat to make your ass look fatter? It's a dead person's fat. Calling it a cadaver doesn't make it any less of a dead person.
I would totally do AlloClae if I wasn't so scared of ghosts. Like, I don't want to get possessed through my butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine going and getting like a liquid BBL and then you get like possessed through your butt. Weird.
You're injecting dead people's fat? Yeah, I am. People have been freaking out about AlloClae for a lot of reasons. People think that they're gonna be haunted by the ghosts of the donor fat. I see dead people. Guys, it's not gonna happen, okay? Because when they process the AlloClae, they take out the DNA of the dead person. So there is no genetic stuff in there, and you do not react to it. Your body doesn't freak out. You don't turn into a zombie. And this is important both to my friends out on TikTok, but also my friends out in the hospital, where a lot of doctors and stuff are saying, wait, how can you do this without getting on like immunosuppressive meds and stuff like that? The bottom line is, AlloClae is removed of the stuff that's gonna make your body freak out about it. And it stays there, it adds support, it adds volume, and the hope is the thing it's going to do best is one day recruit in your own fat. So you don't need to even add more. Hell yeah.
How flat does your ass have to be to the point where you inject a dead person's fat into your butt? Like, that's so nasty. I can't. Like, you are forever haunted. Like, that is not, like, there is a spiritual consequence, and your spiritual consequence is walking around with an insidious booty. Like, you're fucked. Imagine someone looking at your butt and being like, it looks so good. Would you get done? And you're like, oh, you know, this fat transplant, and they're looking at you and they're like, from where? And then you just have to be like, a dead person. Because if you're lying, then you know it's wrong. Then you know it's weird. But if you're telling the truth, and you're like, it's a dead person's fat, someone's gonna look at you. At least 1 or 3 people, or actually everybody's gonna look at you and be like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean?
Let me go on record right here and say that if you are injecting dead people's fat into your ass, I think there is something so deeply psychologically wrong with you. You should possibly...
I'm actually not gonna finish my thoughts, but I think you're a weirdo freak loser. Weirdo freak loser.
Why are we injecting ourselves with cadaver booty fat to make our booties fat? Now, you guys know I would never say anything about a woman's body or what she wants to do with her body or to her body. It's none of my business. However, guys, I do think we're done. I think we're done because I just found out what AlloClae was. I'm gonna need somebody smarter than me and more educated than me to tell me that I got misinformation. Please, I'm begging, because we are in the Black Mirror. We are the Black Mirror. Please, I'm begging to God. I just found out that AlloClae, you're injecting your body with fat from a cadaver. Please somebody tell me that I'm wrong. Please take me away from the misinformation that has led me astray. I'm begging. Why are we injecting ourselves with cadaver booty fat to make our booties fat? I'm not liking this. It's giving a little Epstein file. I don't like that. I think we've reached as far as we can reach for cosmetic additives. I think that's okay. I think that what we've done is amazing. Have you seen fake tits today? They're incredible. The natural BBLs, unbelievable. Do we need with the cadaver and the booty fat on your pants and women? Yes, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Please, somebody tell me I'm wrong.
So y'all are okay with heart transplants, liver transplants, but with human DNA attached to them, but not okay with cadaver fat that has the DNA removed. That's where you draw the line. Make it make sense. You know, we take pieces of the brain in donor as donor stuff too. We take ocular things. We have so many things. So tell me, cadaver fat is where you draw the line? That doesn't even have the DNA. All these other things have DNA attached to it.
I was 16 and signed up to be an organ donor. I was thinking, yeah, someone will get my kidneys or my lungs. I can help save somebody's life. Not that they would take the fat from my corpse and inject it into somebody else's ass for the sole purpose of making their ass fatter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's called AlloClae. They take fat from a donor's body and inject it into somebody else's ass to make their ass fatter. I saw somebody on here say, yeah, like it's no morally different than donating any other organ.
So y'all are okay with heart transplants, liver transplants, not okay with cadaver fat that has the DNA removed. That's where you draw the line. Make it make sense. You know
what? It is completely different. It is not even remotely similar at all. What is wrong with people? Y'all have lost your damn minds. Use your own fat. Get a BBL. I'm actually getting so pissed off just thinking about it. Like, do you know how vain you have to be to get your ass injected with a dead person's fat? Like, that was a living, breathing human person. And now they're just inside your ass.
What is the long-term survival of a dead person's fat? To assume that because it looked good in athymic mice at 6 months, which is the best they have, that it's going to last well in humans and be worth the exorbitant prices that people are lining up to pay for cadaver fat where there isn't published 1-year study. Jesus Christ, that's crazy to me. Hi everyone, I want to talk about something that's been in the news in the last 48 hours, and that is that New York State authorities have seized and stopped the distribution of AlloClae. AlloClae is fat that's derived from cadavers. Now, this seizure, which is only in New York, and Tiger Aesthetics, the people who make it, have said we're temporarily pausing distribution. It's all a technical thing about FDA authority versus New York State authority. It's a technical issue that's being litigated. I have something bigger to bring up, and to help you understand what I'm talking about, I want to ask you if anybody has heard of the Trilucent implant. Please pay attention, this is important. The Trilucent implant was a breast implant that was made and sold a lot in the United Kingdom in the 1990s. The great idea they thought of that implant was that it was filled with soybean oil. And without very much studies, and this is the key point, because AlloClae doesn't even have 1-year follow-up peer-reviewed studies as of today based on my own research online. That's the problem. What happened to the Trilucent implant? Guess what happened? They started rupturing like crazy. It turns out that the soybean oil becomes rancid and causes a lot of inflammation, and they even showed that the degradation byproducts are carcinogenic. And that's all because something was released too fast. And let me explain my specific concern. There's something called alloderm that we've been using that comes from humans to support breast reconstructions, pelvic floor, abdominal reconstructions, very useful. And it's human skin that has been made non-immunogenic. It's a sheet, right? And there are years of experience. AlloClae is fat that comes from a cadaver, but instead of being applied like as a sheet, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of microparticles being sprayed in the tissue. Much more exposure to possible allergens, even if it's in tiny amounts that were otherwise okay. So, to me, the seizure is a blessing in disguise for technical reasons. I think everybody here that's excited about AlloClae needs to cool their jets a little. And you got to be really careful if something's being implanted, millions of microparticles in your body, that doesn't have 1 or 2 year data on a good number of people showing that it's safe. They don't start getting inflamed after a year or two. They don't get rashes. They don't get lumps. Because if you have to remove that, that's going to be a huge fucking problem. Okay? Because it's all over the tissues. So that's my 2 cents on AlloClae. We've never used it, and the more I think about it, the more I am not offering it anymore until I see the data that shows it's safe.
If I say I'm surprised, I will be lying. I'm not really that surprised because a couple of years ago on the Ellen show, she had a guest on, Sandra Bullock, that was talking about how they do this kind of facials where they use foreskin from like babies like that have been circumcised. They use their skin and they inject it into their faces so it can keep them younger. So if they're doing that kind of procedure, it's not far-fetched from them also getting like a deceased person fat transferred into their bodies. Like, that's not far-fetched. You know what I mean? I feel like there's so much crazy and weird procedures out there that people are doing and getting that, it's not really known to the public as much as we think we do. I'm not really that surprised. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised because after hearing the whole facial and how they use baby circumcision, the skin from the circumcision, and then they insert it into their faces to make them stay younger. But I think anything is possible. So I'm not really that surprised, and I don't think you should be either, but I think it's weird. Yeah. I think it's weird, but I'm not surprised. But anyways, let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.